Maxwell, another big episode for teenage me.
Hello, teenage Sam, wherever you're listening.
And
whenever
hello,
you're
everyone listening.
And the rest of you. And if you're another listener named Sam who is a teenager, I guess hello.
Yes. We're talking to Pat from Movements this week, all ahead of their new album, Happier Now, dropping. I was a huge Movements fan when I was younger. Feel Something, one of my favorite albums of all time. Mm-hmm. And they've shifted their pop punk sound, or like their sort of emo punk sound, kill yourself music, as Pat says in our interview, into more of a sort of like pop. Like it sounds stupid saying pop punk, but it's more pop than it is punk.
Pop, punk.
Into their sound. And we chat about how, you know, Pat's found the journey and how they've come to, I guess, this new sound on Happier Now, which seems to be a perfect blend of both.
Well, I mean, let's not waste any time here, Sam. I might throw to you. No, wait, that's too many throwing.
Well,
I'll throw to you.
I just realised midway through you're not in this interview. It's just me.
I'm keen to check it out. Here's Sam.
He hasn't listened.
Chatting to Movements.
We are joined on the line by Pat from Movements. Mate, welcome to the show.
Dude, thank you so much for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. I want to shout out 108 Warehouse before we go into this because
Yeah.
we were talking off air. You said no one's noticed it, but shout out to the boys down in Sydney. You're rocking their shirt. How good?
So, yeah, dude, Sydney, it's like I fucking love Sydney. Sydney's my favorite place in Australia. Like straight up. It's like actually my favorite city.
Well, I'm sure all our Sydney listeners are absolutely frothing hearing you say that, but
and all the Melbourne listeners are gonna be like, "Fuck you."
Well, dude, it's fair thought for us in Brisbane. We're the forgotten major city, but you know, shout out Sydney. It's a great place to be.
I feel like there's less rivalry though between Brizzy and Sydney. I feel like y'all just fuck with each other.
Yeah, we get along. I feel like Sydney and Melbourne is where the real beef is. It's like we're more unique, we're more cultural. It just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
But
totally.
Look, we have a lot to talk about. There's a new album on the horizon. But before we dive into Happier Now, we always start the show by asking our guests what's spinning in their playlists.
Yeah, dude. I have a very specific answer. I have two albums that have been on repeat for months now. The first being Noah Kahan's new album, The Great Divide is what it's called.
Yeah.
And the second being my dear friend Dave. He has a project called Bike Roots, and he put out an album called Prairie that is fucking unbelievable. Really great, like kind of like Americana Springsteen inspired, but still with like roots in our world of music, and he's just fucking amazing. So yeah, Bike Roots and Noah Kahan. That's been my go-tos lately. Yeah.
You're not sort of sick of the new Noah Kahan stuff going all over TikTok? It's not overplayed?
Dude, my thing is like I was never a Noah Kahan fan before this. Like I actually only knew the one song that like blew up on TikTok, and my wife listened to him a bit, but I never like really did any sort of deep dive or anything. And it wasn't until this record came out that I really like started listening. And something about it, man, it hit me like a fucking train. Like I really, really love it, and I have not gotten sick of it. And I'm just like so like proud of him and his journey, his success. We watched his documentary the other day, and I learned a lot about him. And I was just like, man, like this is really, really good stuff. So,
dude, he is bigger than Ben-Hur at the moment. It's insane. Like
it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, some of the shows he's playing are unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Side note, let me know if you can hear my dog. He's going a little crazy right now. So if he starts getting like too active and loud, I'll go and shut the door so that he's not distracting.
No dramas. He is all good, but we'll definitely keep you posted. But look, enough about Noah Kahan. Let's talk about Movements, because congratulations are in order. Happier Now, like I said, it's about to drop, and I'm sure you've been sitting on these songs for years potentially. So close to them all being released to the world. How are you feeling?
Really, really excited. Yeah, really, really fucking excited. I mean, it's been a long time in the making. We were, obviously like a little nervous about like what this album was going to look like when we were in the writing process, what we wanted to do. Like, how it was all going to come together and whatnot. And we ended up with something that we're all really proud of and really excited for the world to hear and to kind of like, yeah, just like open up some new doors for us as a band. Like, it's a really, really interesting place to be in and a really exciting place to be in. I think that the goal ultimately was to try and find a way to like bridge the gap between new movements and old movements, right? Ruckus being our most sonically different album and Feel Something being our most popular album, we wanted to find a way to like combine the two and like really make it, you know, something that felt like a solid representation of what we are as a band as a whole. And I think we did a pretty good job of accomplishing that with this record. So I hope that the rest of the world also feels that. I hope that we, you know, if we lost some interest in, you know, if we lost some interest from people who maybe weren't a huge fan of Ruckus, I hope that we bring them back with this album. And for those fans of Ruckus who really, really like it, I hope that they stick with us and still feel the same feelings that they got from it. So yeah, I'm excited.
It's the reaction to the singles so far has been incredible from what I've seen. You know, when Dissolve Me dropped, people, like you said, felt like old movements met new movements, and there's a lot of buzz, particularly down here in Australia.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's got so many cool throwbacks to sounds we heard on Feel Something that we haven't heard for a little while from you guys. What felt right about the timing of this album to make you guys sort of want to revisit that edgier sound?
Dude, I mean, look, it's all kind of, I think, all been leading up to this, right? Feel Something was sort of this, you know, cultural phenomenon that none of us expected. No, you know, we didn't expect Feel Something to be as impactful as it was for so many people. And then we followed that up with No Good Left to Give in the height of COVID. So all of our progress, all of our like momentum just fucking came to a gnarly halt.
Yeah.
And there was just nothing we could do about it, right? And so we had plateaued at that point. We were like, fuck, like, what are we going to do now? You know, like, we have to do something kind of drastic to, like, get back into people's faces, make sure that we're, like, you know, we're trying to, like, make some fucking noise here and get people excited about movements again. And so we decided to make Ruckus and make an album that was kind of out of left field for what I think most people expect movements to sound like. And I want to like reiterate that I don't think that there is any like mold that movements needs to sound like. We always just write whatever the fuck we want and do whatever the fuck we want. And if we're having fun making it, then that's what's most important to us, right? And I think that we did a really good job of that on Ruckus. Like, we got people talking, whether you fucking loved it or you fucking hated it. Like, it, you know, like it got us to a place where we are now like way bigger than we ever thought that we could ever become as a band, and it's opened up so many opportunities for what we can do in the future. So going into LP4, we were like, all right, so far mission pretty well accomplished, right? But what do we do? How do we bridge that gap? How do we make everybody fuck with what this next thing is going to be, right? Because, you know, we've got all these new fans who like this new music. We've got all these old fans who like the old music. What can we do that's going to make both of them like really, really excited? And so when we started the writing process, we actually weren't really sure what that was, like what the answer to that question was. And through the process of kind of just like narrowing shit down and trying new things and just going with the flow and again, writing whatever felt natural and fun, but with the expectation in our minds being like, okay, we're trying to connect, we're trying to bridge that gap. Eventually we found it, I think. And we found it in ways oftentimes that I think were like a little, that we didn't even really expect, you know? But yeah, the goal was like, I think what really clicked was like the keeping the energy of Ruckus and adding like the sad, emotional, kind of like kill yourself music, you know, of Feel Something, and that is what we ended up with, and I'm stoked about it. I'm really stoked about it. But it was hard. It was a hard thing to do. It was the hardest record that I think we've ever written as a band. Like it was really challenging, but the challenge was worth it in the end.
Yeah, I can imagine trying to put those pieces together would be challenging. I feel like I'd love to ask you about your relationship with Feel Something. We've had bands like Balance and Composure on the show before, and we've asked them sort of their relationship with albums like The Things We Think We're Missing. Because as a songwriter, I imagine when you're in the studio approaching new music, it can be a challenge, and it'd play mind games, you know, balancing exploration versus fan expectation. How does that album sit with you now as you know, trying to do new things with movements?
Yeah, I have so much love and um like I look at that album with such fondness because it's gotten us to where we are. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that album is bigger than this band is. Like it is just that has become something that will outlive you know what I mean? Like our legacy.
Yeah.
Like that is, you know what I mean? Um and for that reason, like I'll always have respect and appreciation for it because without it we'd be nothing. Where I draw, I guess, like sort of a line is when people, I guess, kind of generalize movements as like only ever, quote unquote, being good during that era, or
Yeah.
any of the things that people like to say and talk shit about, whatever. Like, I just fundamentally disagree in
Yeah.
every possible way, in every possible way, because we wrote that album when we were fucking kids. I was 18, 19 years old when we were writing that album. I'm 31 now. Not only have I gained more life experience, have all of us in the band gained more life experience, fucking done this for a living now for a decade, um, been actively like working on like this as a group, but like also as individuals, we've all become such like fucking better songwriters. Like it's crazy looking back at like the quality of songs from the EP and from Feel Something to where they now are objectively from like a writing standpoint. It is night and fucking day. Even like just how they sound, like we're all just way better at what we do now. And so I just, again, I have so much love, I have so much respect, and I have so much like fondness for that record. But it's also probably my least favorite Movements record. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that's no team shade, but it's my least favorite Movements record because I
Yeah.
because I just think that in my opinion, we've just done this the whole time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
So,
mean,
yeah,
as you should when you know, your job is to make albums. Every album should be
totally.
every new album should be the new best one. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's I mean, lyrically as well, movement songs have always felt really deeply introspective, and that's again on show throughout this album. Is that vulnerability and openness on songs something that comes easily to you and sits comfortably with you, or is it something that as the albums have gone on, you've become more accustomed to?
I think it is easy to a degree, and I put easy in air quotes because I don't know that like writing songs that are so deeply personal like is ever like easy. It's really hard to be vulnerable. But I mean easy in the sense that it comes naturally to me, and it's just where my brain goes when I am in like the writing process, right? As
Yeah.
soon as I start sitting down and listening to a track, like a demo or whatever, and start kind of like thinking about like, okay, what like does this invoke? What sort of emotions am I feeling? What does this song remind me of? Like, I saw something like pretty recently that like was really interesting to me, and it's sort of like woo woo shit, but it's like some songwriter was talking about the fact that like songs like you don't write songs, like songs are given to you, like the spirit of like the music or whatever is like going to give you whatever that song is about. And I do kind of resonate with that in a certain way where like I don't necessarily go into like a song thinking like this song's going to be about this or this song's going to be about that. I like wait until I've heard the instruments enough times to like let something jump out at me, and
Yeah.
when it does I just follow it and I just let that go and let my kind of like brain like wander and just like feel out whatever it's going to feel out. And so I think like that is my has been my approach to writing. once I have like a general skeleton or idea of like what that is, then I can kind of sit there and fine tune like, okay, this word needs to be like more, I need more syllables here. I need a rhyme scheme that matches here. I need blah, 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 whatever. But, yeah, like the raw emotion of it all, it like all kind of just like comes from this place of like having dealt with, mental health issues my entire life and having that be such a huge piece of my identity. And there was like a moment of time where I was like, damn, do I want to always fucking write shit like this forever? And I was like, no, I don't. Like, and that's why we started writing happier stuff on the last album, because I didn't want to only do that.
Yeah.
But the reality of having mental health struggles is that it's always a constant up and down, right? Like where I was 2 years ago compared to where I am now, I was in a much, much darker place than right now even, right? And a lot of our music like on this album is reflective of that time. Where I was 4 years ago compared to right now, I was probably at my happiest. You know what I mean? So it's just like this cycle, right? That is always kind of like going, and I'm sure that there will continue to be many more sad songs that we write, but there's also going to be plenty more happy songs that we write. And yeah, that's just kind of like my, I guess, like overarching feelings about it all. That was a little long-winded, I'm sorry.
No, it's good. And with, like, you say it's woo-woo, but musicians always talk about how, songs come together in, one sitting or one session, and it just, we started writing, then, we wrote it in an hour. Like, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and we've had like plenty of those experiences too, where like sometimes a song just fucking goes, and I'll be in, I'll basically, what happens is like, the guys will write the instruments. Once I feel pretty good about the instruments, like I'll take it into another room and I'll, just kind of work on the vocals for a while. And sometimes usually that process takes a couple of days for one song. But there have been times where I've gone and sat down for 30 minutes and come back with a full fucking song, and nothing changes about it at all. It just is there. So yeah, it's really interesting, the fact that like some just come immediately, others I wrestle with for days or weeks on end until we get it right.
It's the joy of the process, as they'd probably say. Look,
yeah,
I'd love to ask before we let you go as well. I mean, Movements as a band, I feel like, love a ballad. Their fans love a bit of a ballad. And every album seems to have that one song that fans just absolutely cling to. I mean, you look at Daylily, Seneca as well. And I feel like even in Ruckus, Tightrope a little bit had that same quality. Listening to Happier Now, Fragile Hands, I'm going to pick as the little dark horse to be the one that fans cling to. What can you tell us about that song? It feels like quite a special one in the album.
yeah, dude, Fragile Hands was crazy. Actually, there's a really interesting story behind Fragile Hands. And so Ira, our guitar player, he and his wife, they have two beautiful little girls. They're so adorable. One who is, I think, just turned 2, and the other who's maybe like 6 months old now. But his older daughter, her name is Benny, and there was this day that she was just randomly like singing a song that she had made up, like just had completely made up. They don't know where she got it, how it came about, nothing. It was just like this weird thing that she kept singing. They're like, what are you singing? Like, what is that? They took a video of it, and it was her, and she was singing something about like, our hands are fragile or something. And we had this recording, and I was like, dude, she's kind of spitting bars right now. Like, what is she saying, and how did she come up with this? He's like, I don't know, bro. And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna turn it into a song. And I just like kind of took that. I took like the words that she was saying, I shaped them a little bit. I added my own spin on stuff. I applied it to my life, and I was like, we got a track, dude. Like, and I wasn't really even sure how people were gonna like that song, because that was one that I had actually kind of like demoed out. I've been like learning how to produce over the last year. I'm really, really bad at it still, but I've been learning because I wanted to be able to be a little bit more self-sufficient in like my writing process and not have to rely on other people if I have a song idea. Like this way, I can just be like, I have this idea. Let me go fucking track it down really quick in my bedroom on my laptop and like fucking sing and whatever. And we'll have something to listen to. that was like one of the first tracks that I had like produced where I was like, okay, I have this idea. It kind of reminds me in some ways of like Death Cab for Cutie. It's like a little weird, it's a little different, has like this synthy part in it, but I'm gonna show it to the guys and see what they think. And everybody was down for it. They were like, yeah, this is fucking cool. And we ended up making it the track, and it was crazy because like all of that collaboration, me trying something new, Ira having his daughter Benny like kind of like bring her soul into that side of it, was just like, it was really interesting. It was really fun, and yeah, it became a song that we all love a lot, and I hope that the audience also feels that too.
I reckon they will, and that's unreal. Benny's now immortalized in Movement's folklore. That's so sick.
Yeah, it's so sick, dude. Youngest songwriter of all time.
Hell yeah. And one last question we've got from our listeners. I mean, our South American listeners will be able to catch Movements on Warped Tour in September, just in time for the album release. But for our Australian listeners, I mean, we saw you open for Pierce the Veil not too long ago, but can we start believing in a Movements headliner anytime soon?
Yeah, I think that is the next logical step for us in Australia, is coming back and doing a big headliner, especially coming off of the back of the PTV tour. Like, we played to more people in Australia than we have ever played to in our entire lives on that tour. Like, it was so insane. The amount of people that were at those fucking shows was unbelievable. And if we've learned anything from touring with Pierce the Veil in the past, it's that their fan base is so fucking dedicated, dude, and they just like ride so hard for every band that is within Pierce the Veil's like sphere. Their fans are going to latch onto. And so we expect to see a lot of new fans who we played to at those shows coming out the next time that we come through, or at least that's the hope, that they'll have found some sort of love for us in those moments and want to come support us as a band next time that we're over there headlining. And yeah, I mean, it happened in the United States when we toured with Pierce in 2016. We had tons of people for the last decade who still come up to us, are like, hey, we know about you because we saw you with Pierce the Veil, like that sort of shit. So I'm really, really hopeful that that's also going to be our experience in Australia, and that we get to start playing some bigger shows as headliners and bring out some bands that we really want to bring out. Shout out Bloom. Those are the homies. I want to do some shit with them. And yeah, so we'll see, man. But I think that's the logical next step.
Love it. Well, give yourself some credit. I know plenty of people that were going to the Pierce the Veil shows just to see you guys. So,
I appreciate that. Yeah, that's nice to hear.
Well, if you are tuning in to this episode, make sure to keep your eyes peeled for Happier Now, Movement's brand new album dropping September 4th. And make sure to go and stream all 4 singles wherever you get your music. Pat, thanks so much for taking the time to chat.
Dude, thank you so much again for having me. I really appreciate it.